Hello dear soulmates, welcome to another interesting tutorial from the Honest Academy. So in this class we're going to be looking at how to draft a basic sleeve. Okay, now as we proceed we're going to be finding out the measurements that we need and where we need them. Okay, so the first thing to get is the length of the sleeve. Let's say you want to do a long sleeve. You're going to measure from your shoulder point to the length of your wrist. Okay, so at that point you get the length of the sleeve and you're going to be adding 1 inch sewing allowance, 1 inch folding allowance to the length of the sleeve. Now that we have the length of the sleeve, the next thing we're going to be getting is our cap height. For us to get our cap height, we'll need to divide our bust by 12 plus 1. So let's assume my bust is 39. I'm going to be dividing it by 12 and I will add 1 inch to whatever the answer is. So 39 divided by 12 plus 1, that will give me 4.25. So at this point, I'm going to be measuring 4.25, 4.25, and I'm going to rule it across. Okay, so once you've gotten your cap height, we want to impute our round arm measurements. If you follow this pattern, we're going to be looking at where to get our round arm measurements. Now, when you have a pattern like this, you're going to be measuring from the back because the back length and the front length are not the same. So the same thing will apply to the sleeve. So here I have 8, and whatever your own is, that is where you measure it. And on this cap height line, you're going to be inserting your 8, right? So this is where you impute the 8. Now get it to the base of your sleeve, either at the wrist or at the elbow, wherever the sleeve stops. You're going to be imputing the base of your sleeve measurements. Okay, so here I want to use 7 and I'm going to rule it. Now in ruling this, if the person has a very big arm, you're going to rule it straight. But if the arm is not that big, you want to slant in a little to give it a very nice shape. So it depends on what you see on the person you're working with or what your arm looks like. You're going to know which method to use to rule the line. Now getting to this allowance below, you can decide to slant your rule a little like this. I hope you can see it, so that when folding it will not you will not run shortage of folding allowance, or you can just fold it over like this while cutting and cut everything together. In that case, you will still be slanting the sewing allowance so that it doesn't become tight while using it to fold this space. So here I'm going to use the ruler to rule it a little, okay, to slant it a little. So this is what I have. Now on this part we are done. If you're making a long sleeve and you need your elbow line, of course you will have to measure from your shoulder to your elbow to know where it is. You have to impute every measurement the same way you impute this one, that is how you're going to impute your elbow measurement. Okay, so now going to the upper part, we are going to be connecting, and of course do not forget to add allowance, sewing allowance. From here to here we do not have sewing allowance, so you can add sewing allowance of 1 inch on a straight line. Okay, so this becomes our sewing allowance this way, but every measurement we're going to take will stop at this point before the sewing allowance. So here we're going to be ruling a straight line to this point, a straight line, right? So after ruling the straight line, the next thing we're going to do is to locate the midpoint. From here to here, we want to locate our midpoint. At this point, we have 4.5. Now at this 4.5, we're going to go up by half an inch on a straight line. We're going up by half an inch at this midpoint. Okay. So what we're going to do is to come in with our armhole curve, and we're going to be connecting from this half inch up to this part, just following the slant of the curve. We connect, and we also connect it down to this point too. Okay, if it looks um pointed, you can use your hand to blend it. Now this is our back sleeve. Like I said before, our back sleeve and our front sleeve are not the same, so there should be a difference. Now at this part, this is where we're going to be connecting our front sleeve. So still going to come in with our cuff like this, and this time it's not going to get to this part, which is the back. We're going to be connecting it to this part this way, right? And then we will turn our cuff and connect to the base of the sleeve, to the cap height point, like this. So it is as simple as this. Now here we have our back sleeve, and here we have our front sleeve. Of course, this is our sewing allowance. All right, so while cutting, I'm going to show us how we are going to cut. You're cutting from your sewing allowance. You can decide to add sewing allowance on the paper before cutting on your fabric, or you cut first, then or cut everything together, whichever way is possible. Now using this method, you can do it on your fabric direct, or choose to do it on paper. So we're going to be cutting first on the back side. We're going to be cutting this way, the back, like this. So here we have our back sleeve. So all of them can fit into the back sleeve. Now we want to locate our front sleeve, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to open it up like this, and then locate our front sleeve and cut from it. So this is where our front sleeve is. We're going to be cutting on it like this. Okay, so what this means is that once you're fixing your sleeve, you're going to make sure that this part of the armhole stays at the front. If you fix it at the back, you're going to have issues. So this part must stay at the front, while this part must stay at the back. So while you're transferring it to your fabric, you need to mark indication to know that this is where the front part will be, and this is where the back part will be. So this is our basic sleeve. You can see that the both of them are not at the same point. I hope this makes so much sense to you. If it does, thank you for watching, and do subscribe on this channel. Bye.